Hey, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Mary Guy, the face, the voice behind this YouTube channel, and I am here to provide you more of an update on my journey of mastering self discipline, along with the monthly goals that I set out to accomplish for the month of May 2025. So, I'm just going to jump right into it and share with you guys how I am progressing towards reaching my goals for the month of May. And at the end, I'm going to share budgeting tips along with my budget plans for this Mother's Day weekend. Few goals each month, and I'm focusing on building my self discipline because it's very important when you're trying to aim for different visions and goals that you might have for your future. And I noticed that is very important for me. So, for the month of May 2025, I have a total of 6 goals. My first goal is to earn at least $2,000 from a supplementary income that I have. Second goal is to pay off a line of credit, which is part of my budget month by month. But this is just one piece on that budget. So this is what I'm focusing on for this month is paying off this totally. So my balance on this credit card is $1,384.42. Goal number 3 is focusing on my health and my fitness. I'm aiming to lose at least 10 pounds. My starting weight was 239 pounds, and that was on April the 27th that I weighed myself. Goal number 4 is to start a SQL course on Microsoft to advance my skill. Goal number 5 is to read, study, and meditate on discipline. So as I'm going through these goals, I'm trying to learn more about discipline, how to become more disciplined, and just putting it more in my mind so that I'm able to implement goal number 5, which is to implement discipline in all areas of my life. So I'm just going to go straight to it. So let's see how I've made progress on my first goal, which is to earn at least $2,000 from a supplementary income. Just to kind of recap, this is one of the few ventures, I would say, several ventures that I have in mind to accomplish and earn money from. And I'm just making this as a goal right now. So for the month of May, on the first, I earned $63.29. The second one, $32. And then on average, $169. For that first week of May, I earned a total of $370.61, which brought my remaining balance down to $16.29 to earn for the remaining week. So this is the end of this week. So I'm wondering where I sit at my total and my remaining balance. If you've watched the previous videos or if you haven't, I did a little bit of math to kind of figure out on average how much money I need to earn each week in order to reach my goal from here on out. And that was $407. So my aim for this week, at the end of this week, is to actually have earned at least $407. So let's just recap what I did on this week. On Sunday, I actually wasn't able to earn any money. I had church, and then after church, I had some other obligations to fill up my time with. So I wasn't able to earn any money there. Same thing on Monday, although I did have work and then some things in the afternoon. But I picked back up on Tuesday and I was able to earn $56, almost $57. Wednesday, I earned $76. Thursday, I earned $69. Friday, I earned $116. And then today, I was actually able to squeeze in some time before making my Mother's Day trip that I've been mentioning that I'll be out of town today and I'll be returning tomorrow. But I was able to actually earn some money before leaving out on Saturday. And so that is a total of $51.25. Needless to say, is not as much as I would have wanted to make for this week, but I still made a pretty good total, which is still very close. It's only $31 shy of $400. And then if I were to take the $407, it's $38 shy of 400, the goal that I needed to make. So I'm not too far from where I should be. So there's still hope that I'm able to compensate for that difference there. So that brought me down to where I would have to earn $1,260.31 for the remaining weeks. So if I were to do some little bit of math again, just to get in my mind where I'm at and how much I need to actually earn. I know it's going to be a little bit more over $400 in the previous times that I've calculated it, but so 1260.31, and there's 3 more weeks left. So that's like on average $420 each week. That is, I mean, that's reasonable given that if I was able to have a full Saturday, because Saturdays are generally my peak, is like you can see from that first week. Fridays and Saturdays are normally the time that if I were given that whole time to actually earn, those are the days that I really earn the most. And then the other days they sit around this amount because I'm not able to actually spend much time on the weekdays to actually earn money from this supplementary job. But on Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and generally on Friday and Saturday, if I could have my full day, you can see from the first week, I almost made that whole $300 just off of Friday and Saturday alone. That's like a little bit over $200 there. And then the other additional came from, well, actually it's close to 300. It's almost 200. It's almost $300 altogether there. It's a little bit over $300 just for those 2 days. So you can see how Friday and Saturdays are really my most lucrative days as far as this venture goes. So being that this Saturday I wasn't able to spend much time because I actually had to leave out very early to go back to my hometown, which is about a little bit less than 4 hours away from where I reside. Um, the fact that I was able to squeeze in this amount of money is actually pretty good, considering I had to drive, and then the next day I'm planning on coming back. So I still feel confident. And this is like just to kind of show, sometimes as we're tracking our way to our goals, I might fall short, but there's always hope to regain myself. And so this is a goal for a reason because it's something that I want to push myself and see if I'm able to actually earn this amount of money in this month and just kind of get in a good baseline to where I'm at if I were to try to strive for another $2,000 for the following month or the following months, whether it was a lot of effort or whether it was feasible, whether it was a little effort. It's just something that I would want to know going forward, whether I reach this goal or not. I'm still hopeful that I'm able to reach this goal. And not only reach it, I'm still hopeful that I'm able to exceed this goal and earn more than $2,000 this month. So my key week is actually going to be next week, where I'm actually able to earn more money on most of the days. And I think these following 2 weeks are going to somewhat reflect. It's going to reflect the combination of this week because I should be able to earn money Tuesday through Saturday, but then my Saturday should be much higher these next 3 weeks because I should have that whole, well, actually, just thought about it. That 17th is going to probably reflect the 10th today because I have something going on in that afternoon. I have a wedding to attend and I won't be back until Sunday, but I have some other obligations, and then on Tuesday I'll be able to pick back up. So my game plan is I'm just going to kind of go down the list. So this next week, this upcoming week, I should be able to earn money on, my hope is that when I get back into town, I'll be able to earn money on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then on Saturday, it'll just be morning time that I'll have time to earn. And then on the following week, because I'll be out of town on the wedding, won't come back, but then won't be able to get back to earning money here on the 20th. So I should be able to earn the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and all of 24th. So I should see an increase this day. So I should have 2 big Saturdays. And then the same thing for the following week. I'll be able to earn Tuesday through Saturday. So I still have hope because of those Fridays and Saturdays. Generally speaking, they earn me the most. And so I'm hoping that I'm able to earn as much as I can throughout this week coming up, and then on the Saturdays coming up. That will balance off the difference that I didn't make for these past 2 weeks. So that's my game plan on that. Paying off Chase credit card, I actually made some progress on this prior to leaving for the Mother's Day weekend. I went ahead and did a rebudget, just like a brief run through of all my obligations. I just got paid, had to pay some bills and things like that. So I wanted to run through my budget real quick before I actually paid the amount of money on this credit card, just to make sure that it was feasible for me to still pay that projected amount. And then sometimes when I do that, I actually wind up paying more. It depends on what I have to budget for and how much money that leaves me with, and what other things I have that I need to think about paying for in that allotted time. So I actually was able to go ahead and pay this out prior to today. And so that means I have a remaining balance on this account of $922.42. And then my next projected time to pay would be the end of the next week, where I'll be paying another $462. And then on the 24th, I should only have a little bit less than $462, depending on how things are. And so let's see, I got paid this week. I'll be getting paid again on the 21st at midnight, well, Thursday at midnight, but it still shows up a little early on Wednesday. So I'll have to rebudget again and kind of see where I'm at. I already have a budget, but what I do is kind of like, as it goes along throughout the month, I just want to see again assess where I'm at with my budget before it comes time to paying some more bills and things like that. So that's probably what I would do on that 24th, just to kind of regather myself on where I'm at with this goal. So I'm actually doing pretty good with that. Goal number 3, I have made great progress on this. So far, I have lost weight along the way. So I'm down can't talk. I'm down to 235 and 2/10 of a pound. And that's on this Sunday that I weighed myself, this past Sunday. And so tomorrow I will weigh myself again, and my projected weight, which should be somewhere around 233 and 8/10 of a pound. So I will be sharing tomorrow, doing another weigh-in and seeing where I'm at on this goal. And I have to consider the fact when I go out of town, the possibility of, I just have to be very diligent with being aware of what I'm intaking when I'm out of town, if I'm going out to eat, things like that, that can deter where I'm at with my weight. So I just have to keep that in mind as I'm entering into Mother's Day weekend, and hoping that I will be very disciplined enough to still, find pleasure in what I'm choosing to eat, but at the same time not overindulging in, or even indulging in, those junk food items at all. Goal number 4, start SQL course on Microsoft to advance skill. This is the goal that I'm probably going to have to do a little bit more work on trying to make my way through. But yet and still, I set it as a goal to start the course. And so that means if I just start this course, which I started on May the 4th, I just want to make more progress on it, because as time lapses, I might have to go back and review again what I finished already, just because I'm letting days go by. So probably a plan for me for the following weeks is, I think I've mentioned it before, but I really need to sketch out my schedule again, my daily schedule that I shared on a previous video that went hour by hour, and finding that time that's not feeling as if I'm squeezing in time. I want to actually make a set of time, the time that I'm going to say I can actually sit down and work some more on this. I might even have a plan for sketching out time during my work day. If it's just 30 minutes during my work day, where I just set aside that time to say, okay, I'm going to focus on doing a unit or set of units during this time, just kind of working through them. Since this goal does relate to my job, it's feasible for me to actually do some of this on my job. So that's probably what my game plan is going to be for the following week, to kind of get me caught up. Because by the end of next week ends on the 17th, I should be all the way down here. I should have already started module 4. So I have some catching up to do, because each of these modules have several units in them. Module 1 has 9. I can't remember how much module 2, but I'm just going to say on average that every single one of these modules have about 9 to 10 units within them. And sometimes it might take a little bit of time to get through them. So I have some catching up to do, because if I was on track, I should be almost finished with module 2. And then the way that I set up for module 3 and 4 is that I think I gave myself about 4 days on each of these modules to complete. So if I'm trying to get back on track, by the end of this week, I should have completed module 3 and 4. Module 2, 3, and 4, and I'm still on module 1 on those last 2 units where you have to do an exercise like you do it kind of walks you through demonstration, so you can practice some of the skills that you read about, and then you do an assessment where it gives you some questions to answer to see if you really understand what the content is about. So I know I need to hold myself a little bit more accountable on this particular goal, because out of all of my goals, this is the one that I probably haven't done much movement on. Goal number 5 is to read, study, and meditate on discipline. And the way that I'm kind of documenting this is reading. When I read, study, and meditate on it, I am pulling up things to learn more about discipline, and then I'm taking pieces of what I've read and studied and meditated on, and I'm asking myself what really resonated with me. What is something that I could take away as a summary of the things that I've learned or studied or meditated on? And for this first week of May, the one thing that really resonated with me was a statement in the book, The Power of Self-Discipline, which I have a link below in the description. So in that book, the author states these 2 sentences, and it resonates with me because it shows me the importance of self-discipline, how not having self-discipline can actually be a hindrance. Whether you're talented, you can be intelligent, you can be the smartest thing on the block, but if you don't have self-discipline, it kind of diminishes even your intelligence, because you're not able to operate in your full intelligence of getting things done. So, with self discipline, the average person can rise further than intelligence and talent alone will take them, and the ordinary person can become extraordinary. On the other hand, an educated, talented person without self discipline will rarely rise above mediocrity. And I don't want to be that talented, educated person, which I know I'm educated and talented, and I don't want to be just mediocre. I want to be more. I want to be as much as I can possibly be. So that kind of sits in the back of my mind to make sure that I am honing in on self-discipline. Then for this week, even though it's talked about in the book that I'm focusing on in regards to this goal, I actually pulled this from my studies online. So I came across some articles about behavior, routine, and habit, and I've once before studied this. But these 2 sentences kind of resonate with me for this week. It says, behavior, routine, and habit are interconnected tools that significantly contribute to developing self-discipline. By understanding how to cultivate these elements, individuals can build stronger willpower and achieve their goals more effectively. So the reason why this it resonates with me for several reasons. I have shared in previous videos my kind of up and down um, way of meeting my goal. Then I get kind of laid back. I kind of don't follow my routine. I don't continue my routine. I don't continue my habits. I slack off. And then guess what happens over time? I wind up diminishing my progress on my goals. I wind up going right back to square one. And so I think that kind of relates to this statement of the importance of building your behavior, routine, and habit to support you in your self-discipline walk. So building my behavior, routine, and habit so that it supports me while I'm walking on my journey of accomplishing my goal and developing my self-discipline. I need to have these things in place to help me build stronger willpower. So I won't have those moments where I allow temptation of not going to the gym to actually take full effect. I actually stopped going to the gym prior after losing those 60 pounds. I didn't continue my gym routine. I somewhat still was aware of my eating habits, but I might have indulged in some things that could have been a better choice item. And combined with not going to the gym, not being active and like I was prior to, it just allowed the weight to catch up. And so I want to be better about that. So therefore, my studies became more about behavior, routine, and habit because I want to make sure that I'm cultivating these elements. And I actually have a previous video where I go more in detail on how to do this. Um, so that's there if you would want to go back and watch it. This is the end of the first week. And so goal number 6 is where I'm going to share with you guys how I was able to implement discipline in all areas of my life in regards to my mind. So on mental, I was able to implement discipline in the area of my mental space because during the work week, Monday through Friday, I had prioritized self-care by taking my 2 walk breaks during work each day, which helped me relax and rejuvenate. I noticed over the course of time, when I first started, that was around the time when I was really geared in on embedding more time to be more active. And so because my job is a sit down job, I had to be very conscious about getting up, taking breaks, and not just sitting here for the full work time, just working away on my computer. Allowing myself to take those walk breaks kind of gives me time to step away from what I'm working on, put myself first to realize that I need a break to relax and rejuvenate. And a lot of times it has helped me complete my job better because when I stepped away from something that I might have been working on for hours on end with no success, after I take my walk break, it clears my mind. It gets me to really think of the best way of handling whatever that situation is. And then when I come back, somehow it just magically flows out. I'm like, oh, that's the way that I should do it. So taking that moment to kind of step away has been a great way to clear my mental space. Also, I have reflected on gratitude for what I have overcome in my past and where I'm in my present. I've actually gone through quite some things since 2021. And I will be sharing those things in some upcoming videos of what I'm referring to. But going through those things, though, even though 2021 was a rough patch in my life where a lot of different things just happened, it really transpired me to be where I'm at today. Really, it did. And it allowed me to reflect more on being grateful. I'm able to kind of step out of my body and actually observe things for what it really is and not let things of what I might be going through in life to really hold me down. I just kind of step out of myself and really think about, is this really something serious? I always go back. This might be too extreme, but I actually read an article that suggests us to do this. But sometimes we got to think about life and death. A lot of times I think about life. I might not think so much about if I were to die tomorrow, today, if I put things in that mind frame, it'll diminish the thing that I might be worried about. Is that really something that I really want to be worried about until my dying day? If I had to, because we don't know the day or the hour in which we might pass. So when that time comes, I don't want any little thing of my life to overcome or overtake my time here on earth. So that allows me to kind of step back and reframe things and make sure that I'm not just leading with my anxiety on issues and just really taking a step back to being grateful. So I kind of reflect on the past and I look at the present and I'm just grateful overall. It allows me to be more grateful when I look at it like that. That's just my way of looking at it. It's kind of taking a step back, zooming out from the picture of where I'm at right now. I know I might be upset about this particular thing, but when I zoom out, is it really a big issue, or is just a small issue that I feel that is big because I'm actually in that moment right now? So I've done that, and that has really helped me out a lot when I actually zoom out. And I might go more in detail in some other videos to kind of share what I mean by that with some real life examples of what I've gone through and how I've kind of used that to help me. But it really just helps me step more into my gratefulness side and not allow one thing or anything or any emotion to deter me from a life of peace and gratitude. Mondays and through Fridays, I have maintained my gym routine. I'm so happy with myself about that. So far since I've been on this venture, I have stepped up by getting back into the gym so I can get back on track with my goal of better health. So Mondays through Fridays are when I have planned to go to the gym. On the weekends, if I do choose to go, that's a plus. But those are my days that I kind of don't go to the gym. But I do go to the gym Mondays through, and I have done great with making it to the gym. And it has helped me improve my overall well-being because in the morning time, once I stepped away from the gym, I've noticed that I tend to sleep in. I have to get my son up, I have to drop him off at school. I'm getting up later. I'm rushing out the door, trying to get him to school on time. And so with me going to the gym, it's actually helping me because he's already ready for school. We're already out the door. We're on our way. The gym is kind of like a pit stop. We're stopping by the gym, and then once I get done with the gym, we're on our way to drop him off at school. And actually, since me being in the gym, he's been there in line. We've been in line waiting for them um, to allow the kids to go in because they have a set time that they actually start moving the lines. So we have been pretty consistent, and that just made me feel good because I feel like I can utilize my time more in the morning. So when I get done dropping him off, I can actually go and do some more activity like walking around the block to clear my mind before I clock into work. And it has really just been such a great thing that I really want to maintain throughout. I just realized that I just cannot take any days off going to the gym. As far as like Mondays through Friday, I can't go back to where I was after losing those 60 pounds and then now gaining 39 of them back. I realized that not going to the gym is just not going to be my thing. Like, I have to go to the gym. I have to continue this routine. I have to have discipline Mondays through Fridays and getting up and going to the gym. That's just how I'm going to be able to maintain my weight and continue going towards losing so that I can reach my goal, my weight goal, and my health goal. And the last thing I've done as far as like mentally, I've been limiting my social media and turning off notifications on my phone. It has helped me with having a better control on when and what I choose to enter into my ear gate. So, or my eye gate. So, because a lot of things on your social media, it's nice now. I'm realizing that maybe I should talk more about positive stuff so that those negative things don't come on my timeline because with AI and such, your conversations that you have, it kind of filters your social media and your timeline, different things that you talk about. You wind up seeing different ads on your social media. So I kind of had a thought in my mind recently to a way to combat that is maybe when I'm talking, I need to talk more about my goals. I need to talk more about positive things. I need to search positive things, making sure that I'm watching positive things so that positive things will come up on my timeline and some of those negative things won't even show up because I'm spending most of my time reflecting and focusing on positive stuff that the negative stuff is not going to have any room to show up on my timeline. But yet and still, I do like the idea. And actually, I implemented this some time ago because with all the social medias, especially like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, every time they would do something or they felt like I would want to know about anybody I was following, they would notify me on my phone. I was like, oh no, I have to turn this off. This is just too much. I don't really want to be, I don't keep tabs on people like that to want to know every time they post something. Or I like to take control of what I choose to listen to and watch. And so with social media being so geared towards AI, it kind of takes that away in a sense. And this is my way of kind of reclaiming that by turning off my notifications. I don't even have notifications when people send me text messages because I am in a few group chats. And if you are in some group chats, you know how that can be when they're messaging you while you're busy working. They might not be working that day and they're just going back and forth and back and forth. And you just receiving all these messages. So when you get off of work, you have to get caught up with it. So I love turning it off. And then I know I have my phone. I know I have people who are going to be reaching out to me. I know I have people who are going to be calling me, messaging me. So I can know when to go to my phone and look up my messages. Same way on my Facebook or social media. I really don't use the messaging on those, to be honest, because I kind of feel like that's just filtering through a whole bunch of junk mail. People who needs to reach out to me, I say they have my number and I prefer for them to call me or message me. Don't be messaging me on social media. Social media is so crowded with other things. So limiting the social media and turning off notifications on my phone has really been a great help for me. As far as my career, how did I implement? Well, at work, I use my work log and a priority list, and it helps me monitor my progress on assigned tasks. It has really helped me manage my time effectively. There are some areas where I do want to grow better in as far as it relates to my career, but I can say that this has been a great plus to me um, with implementing discipline because I actually have a spreadsheet that kind of goes over everything that I've done. And I kind of track my own progress, even though at my job they have a way that they track it. I like to track it myself so that I can kind of track it the way I want to. And I can do it based on categories. And I can actually share like a chart, like I can see a trend line, a pie chart of my percentages of how much time I'm spending on this type of task. So it really encompasses a lot for me and helps me be able to look back at what I was able to complete and how long it took me. My finances, how did I implement discipline this week with regards to my finance? Well, during this week, I budgeted for Mother's Day weekend, which I will be sharing with you at the end of this video, what my budget for this weekend is. This has helped me with being more proactive versus reactive to the cost of traveling, as well as Mother's Day expenses because just last month, my niece and nephew came down to spend spring break with me. And I'm going to actually go do some budgeting videos, kind of go back into my spending just to kind of get an idea of how much money have I spent in the past on going out to eat? How much money have I spent as far as like traveling? I last month I spent well over $1,000 just to cover groceries, like extra on top of my regular budget, extra, like just for the fact of my niece and nephew coming down. Because we went out of town, wanted to do something special on their spring break. We went to Wakulla Springs. We stayed in a hotel. Um, we did several different things, went swimming, went out to order things out at restaurants and such. Went to this urban air. So the cost it added up, and it was around $1,000 that I wind up spending on top of just my regular expenses. And so this weekend coming up, I felt like, okay, well, let me be a little bit more proactive. Let me just write down and consider all the things that I need to spend money on and give it a reasonable amount that hopefully will be over the amount that I actually spend. Because I generally like to budget for more just in case it winds up being more instead of trying to budget less. Sometimes I do. It depends on what I'm budgeting and the whole idea of budgeting. But I need to get a clear idea of what the expenses are, to be honest. And also, I did great refraining from going out to eat and spending money unnecessarily. Because if I were to go back into my account, I'm trying to think to make sure I'm not. I didn't order. Now I went grocery shopping to buy things from the store to be able to have things to cook at home, but I didn't do anything as far as prior to Mother's Day weekend. Of course, I'm going out to eat Mother's Day weekend because that's part of the Mother's Day treat that I have for my mom. But outside of that, I haven't gone out. Um I've actually done a great job preparing like meals after school for my son, especially if I'm having to run somewhere else. Um a lot of times the time frame would be like, well, I just go out. Now I'm not gonna say it hasn't crossed my mind where I would say I could just go to Zaxby's and get him a chicken and fries plate. But now I was like, no, no. I have this at the house. I can actually cook this. So he's done like noodles. He loves chicken and fries. We got chicken and fries at the house. Can just pop that in, give myself enough time to get that done and cooked. And then the same amount of time that I'm waiting in the drive-through line, I could spend that time preparing it myself. And then I don't have to spend my money unnecessarily because we have groceries at the house and I want to make sure I actually use those groceries before they run out. So I can say that I've done very good on implementing discipline in that area as well in regards to finances. All right, and then the following weeks, I will be talking about how I'm implementing it in my body, heart, and soul. So far on my May 2025 goals, on goal number one, out of the 10 days, I have made progress 8 out of those 10 days. That's an 80%. That's pretty good. Goal number two, I would say that's 100% because out of the 10 days, I was only supposed to make a payment on one day. So that's 1 out of 1. That's a 100%. Goal number three, that has been a consistent thing. I have to be cautious with my eating habit and so forth. Um, so, and also with working out during the weekdays, I've done very great on that. So that's 10 out of 10, 100% on that goal. Starting sequel, that's actually going to be a 1 out of 6, which is what percent is 1 out of 6? Well, let's see. I could do that math, but yeah, that's very low. It's like 17% of the time from the time that I started. So I'm not including May the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd because on my chart, I made it a plan to start on the 4th. And I wanted to continue throughout, but I've only had time to start on the 4th. But if I were to go back to what my goal literally says, it says to start. So I actually did start, but I do want to do more than just start. I want to hopefully continue because if I don't finish this now, then it's just going to roll over into the next month. And now I'm spending more time on doing one thing when I could be moving on to something else. Goal number 6 or goal number 5, I've done pretty good on goal number 6, same as well. So now let me just go through some budgeting tips to share and then I'll share with you what my budget is for Mother's Day. And then tomorrow or after tomorrow, I'll kind of give you a recap on whether or not how did I do on my budget. So after Mother's Day weekend, I'll share with you, did I actually follow my budget or not? So just a few budgeting tips to kind of help. So number one, you want to track your spending. I always track my spending. And I actually want to do more tracking of my spending because I might just do my budget sheet of what I need to actually pay. I do a budget on that. But I want to go back and track. So in the future, maybe the next week or the week after that, I want to share my progress on going back into my phone and kind of like looking at how much money did I spend this month on eating out? How much money I need to do some more going back into my budget and reflecting on my spending, my track my trend on my spending, like the trend of spending for the months that have passed. And I think that's going to help me going forward in the future to make sure that I'm not overindulging. And then making sure, like, especially with going out to eat, it'll be a reality check to see how much money I'm actually spending buying fast foods or things like that. Setting financial goals. I know what my financial goals are is to get first is to get my debt down. So that's why I have that goal number 2 to pay off that credit card because that's a piece of my budget. And I have some other things that I'm working on paying off. And I'm just trying to get it in a manageable, like 30% low, because that actually helps your credit too when you keep it below a certain line. Just because I have this amount of money worth of credit, I don't want to blow it all and spend it all to the max. I want to manage it better, have discipline, and that also helps me also with not paying interest. Like if my goal is for my credit cards that I have, whatever I put on it, I want to be able to pay it off within that month before it's actually due, before it actually accrues interest. I want to use my credit card to my benefit because it helps your credit, but I don't want to use it and then wind up having to pay more because then it wouldn't really be to my benefit. It'll be to the company that owns the credit card benefits because not only are they getting paid what I actually spent, they're getting paid extra on top interest wise. Create a realistic budget. That should be a T there. Create a realistic budget. So I had to try to be as realistic as I possibly can when it came to Mother's Day, my Mother's Day budget, just so I'm not lowballing it. Yeah, I want to save, but I don't want to my budget to be too far from realistic. I know how much things generally cost and reduce my spending. So I want to reduce my spending definitely in the areas of like just buying. If I buy groceries, I want to use my groceries. I don't want to go on top of buying groceries, then going out to eat. Going out to eat is fine every now and again for occasions. For example, I'm planning on taking my mom out to eat for Mother's Day. That's a special occasion, but I don't want to be doing that every single day. Automate your savings. I actually have a savings account, a high yield savings account, and I could share that later. And actually, I'm planning another part of my financial goal is to create several other saving accounts. So that's actually automated. I actually set that up some time ago, where it's taking a set amount of money out each day and it's putting it into that savings account. And granted that on the weekends, it's not a work week or work day. So I kind of balances that out by taking out maybe a little bit more on Monday and Friday to cover the Saturday and Sunday that the money should have been taken out. So literally, technically, I'm taking out money each day. For this account, it compounds daily. So I didn't want to do just like a monthly um, withdrawal and transfer into that account. I wanted to do it daily because I realized when I use that calculator, it's like a calculator online that you can use that will show you how much money you actually will have over a certain period of time, depending on what your interest rate is, and it's compounded daily and how much money you start out in your account. And I noticed for any amount that I put in, because my account compounds daily, putting in $100 once in a month is actually I would have lesser money than if I put $10 each day for the month because it actually compounds daily. So I earn more interest on it when I do it that way. And I could share that with you in a later video, kind of show you firsthand how that is. Another budgeting tip is review and adjust your budget regularly. And I actually did that when it comes to um, making that payment on my goal number 2. I generally like to just see again, where am I? Just keeping tabs. I have a budget, but I'm always revisiting that budget prior to making any major payments on anything, just to see for sure, like, do I have any unexpected things that's about to come out of my account that I didn't account for on my budget? Because sometimes you might have some spending that you've done that's not really part of your budget. It happens. And then maybe at that point, if it's a regular thing, I need to make that a part of my budget so that I'm always considering it and don't have to keep thinking about, something that I didn't consider actually being a hindrance to my budget. And then the 7th goal is to consider using budgeting apps and tools. I haven't signed or subscribed for these budgeting apps. There are quite a few that I've heard people say that it's actually pretty good. They got some Rocket app. Let me just look up some real quick. And actually, some of them it tracks your spending for you. It tracks your subscriptions because nowadays we have um everything wants you to subscribe. They want you to subscribe. It's actually a marketing strategy to get people to subscribe because you're guaranteed that money each month from someone versus waiting for them to purchase it whenever they need it. But most things have subscriptions. I mean, Netflix, Hulu, even different gym memberships. I mean, you have membership fees. They have so many different ones here that you could use and see which one works. But for me, I use budgeting tools. Like I do me an Excel sheet. I do writing it on a sheet of paper. Because you can do a lot with your budget on your own. And then like now with things being more digital, more than likely I'm spending using my card. When I do that, it allows me to track my budget more. If I spend money, you can't really trace the money unless you write it down that, hey, I spent $20 on this. But by me using my card every single time, it allows me to go back and track what I've actually spent my money on. So those are just tips. And so now I'm going to share with you my budget for Mother's Day. This is just giving you an idea of what I generally do when it comes to budgeting. So I know that the whole big thing of the weekend is that she's gonna get a massage. I've already booked it. It has not come out yet. It comes out on the day of, after the service is rendered. So that actually costs $120. It's a deep tissue massage and it's for an hour and it's priced at $120. Then I know we're gonna want to go out and eat. So I just budgeted $100 just to make sure it's over the amount, just in case. I'm not sure what restaurant she's wanting to plan to go to, but I'm just budgeting $100. And then of course traveling there, I know how much it takes to fill up my tank. It takes about 40, a little bit over 40, depending on where I stop, depending on how much they're charging. It could cost from $40 on low end to close to $50, but normally like 45. But I just budgeted $100 because I got to pay going and coming back. So that should be around $80, but I just rounded up to 100 just in case, just to have that extra cushion just in case. So that's a total of $320 that I have budgeted for this weekend. So actually tomorrow I'll be coming back from the Mother's Day weekend. So all of this would have happened. So I'm going to give you I'll let you see what I actually spent on Mother's Day weekend and then kind of talk further in the later video on different things regarding this. So this is all that I have for you guys today. I've showed you my progress on all of my goals. Tomorrow is weigh-in, so I'll share how I'm doing on goal number 1. And then I share with you guys about my budgeting tips. I share with you guys about my upcoming weekend travel, Mother's Day weekend, and I even share with you my budget for that. Like literally, I have it written down right here on this is what I did. Somehow just writing it down just really helps me even more with my budget. Even though I have it on my Excel sheet, just something about writing down for me. I just like writing it, just jotting down all the different things that come to my mind that I'm have to spend. And so, yeah, until next time, see you guys later. Please subscribe, please like, please comment, and I will see you tomorrow.